My name is Herby Duverné. I'm the CEO of Windwalker Group. My firm resides in Roxbury, Massachusetts. That's where our headquarters is. We've been around for 25 years doing custom design training, security, and professional services for many clients that you may not know our name, but you know our clients like Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, the Red Sox, Eastern Bank, and so forth.
Oh, another wonderful Haitian sensation in my world, which I'm so happy to see you. This is like the best time for me because I get to catch up with friends that I haven't seen in a long time. So hi, Herbie.
Hi, how are you, Judy? How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. There's so much that you do, and it's impressive. And I love how you said, like, you may not know who we are, but you know who our clients are. But no one really knows who you are really deeply. So how did you start this company? Like, tell me, like, let's rewind of who is Herbie and what's your background?
So Herbie is a Haitian immigrant, came to this country when I was 20 years old. I, just like many other immigrants, didn't know a word of English. And then I migrated first to New York City, and I moved to Boston a year after that. I went to school and learned English as a second language in many community colleges and so forth. Then I went to Northeastern University, get a bachelor degree in criminal justice and also a master's degree again in criminal justice at Northeastern University. And then my career picked up from there, where I got positioned from many places like the Harvard Coop, TJ Maxx, places like Harvard, places like State Street Bank. And my last gig, my last job was at Massport. I was a deputy director of aviation security at Massport, where I was in charge of security at Logan International Airport, many of us know. And then that's when, after 6 years at Logan, I decided to do my own things. I say, you know what? I am just like most Haitian. We love to be free. And that's why we fight all the time about being free. And I realized like doing my own things, it was probably a way for me to be completely free. So I started 2012 with two other people and started my own business and focused mostly on cybersecurity and physical security. And then down the line, 2017, we bought another company that's been around for 25 years where we combine their capabilities, which is mostly training, all type of training, and our capability in security and cybersecurity. And that's why we have Windwalker Group. So that's my journey in a short time, just to let you know how but it's been fun, and I could not really think of any other way to have it.
All right, well, you gave me so much content, which I love, but I'm going to rewind a lot. So,
Yes.
Talk to me about how you're in school. Let's just talk. You come to this country in your 20s.
Yes.
So look, my parents came to America. Same thing. Like my dad was in his early 30s, and my mom was in her early 20s. And so, young couple. I was conceived in Haiti. I was born in America. So my mom was 8.5 months pregnant with me. And the American dream has always been in my essence, like everything about being in America, the American dream, there's nothing that you're not able to do. What was it like for you? And you're coming in later in years. So I learned how to speak English when I was 8 years old, but I was born here. You came in at 20 years old. You're informative. You already have your thought processes. How was that for you coming into the United States?
First of all, it was a culture shock because I never left Haiti for 20 years. But when I came to this country, I realized the depth and the opportunity that was here for me. I mean, one of the things that I think was a blessing to me is the fact that I came here when I was much older. So I was able to have a different perspective. Thankfully to you, but I wasn't young to sort of only know about the perception of United States. So I was able to understand in 20 years as a growing up man, how things were going in Haiti. And when I came here, I realized all that I can do. I realized the vast majority of opportunity. I've realized, the sky's the limit. So I made a plan. I made a mission for me to do whatever it takes to grab all those opportunities, to work hard, to do the right things, to connect with people, but more importantly, to contribute to the country, right? Because we want that country to be the best that it can be for my kids, my grandkids, your kids, and everybody else's kids. We don't want to be selfish. I mean, that's what America is such a great country. We want to come here, we do the best we can, and we live it much better than we got it when we first time. So that's the journey. That's how that happened.
How did you get to the point where, from one career to the next, like what was that learning process that you had for every single career that you had? What was a stepping stone that led you to the company that you own right now?
So the stepping stone was interesting because when I went to, again, different perception. When I started at Northeastern University, I wanted to be a pharmacist. I thought, being a pharmacist is close to being a doctor, right? You can wear still the white blouse. And I was like, well,
we know, well, it's funny. We know the rule of thumb: doctor, lawyer, engineer.
That's right. So I couldn't be a lawyer. I couldn't be, but at least I can be a pharmacist. But one thing I realized at Northeastern is the limitation of my English was very hard for me to understand the chemistry courses that was given at Northeastern. I just couldn't grasp the concept because the concept was such a hard thing to understand unless you sort of grew up in here. So it was hard for me. And what I decided to do is, let me go to a different program. So I started to say, well, you know what? I'm a people person. I like interacting with people. Why don't I look into criminal justice, which is really about connecting with people, looking at risk management. I was never a person that wanted to be a cop. So from the moment that I get into the program, most of my classmates, at least 80% of them, went to get all the tests to become a cop. I didn't want to be a cop. I wanted to be a person that deal with people. So my career started when I was in school first as a loss prevention detective. So I was the person walking into the store and really find out people's behavior and seeing who's gonna steal, who's stealing, so I can do something about it. And I was also doing the same thing with our organization, with the employees, just looking at all the different numbers and see who's stealing, who's not. And from that point forward, my career grew from loss prevention to more like a corporate security when I was at Harvard Coop, Station Bank, and my sport. So that's really how the career grew from point to point. But every step of the way, Jodi, was, I was trying to learn. I know that, I'm still learning. I don't know everything. There's so much need to learn. So I felt that every point of the way I was trying to learn a different thing I can do, learn a different career that I can have. And that's what really brought me the path to where I am now. Even learn to become an entrepreneur, which is where I am now.
So it was very interesting in regard to so many of your classmates became police officers and you went the route of understanding the norms of individuals. How did that transition into technology and cyber? Because, I have to say, I'm fascinated. I'm in love with the cybersecurity. I think it's just, there's just some sexiness to it where it's crime, but it's like so sexy, cybersecurity. How did you get to that point where you transitioned into going from, watching people engaging with individuals that real time, and now you're behind the screen?
So I think what I want to is you have to have good people working for you. So again, I was able to have great opportunity and hire wonderful people that's really very technical. They understand how cybersecurity works, how to solve or bring solution to client. But importantly, one of the things that a lot of us don't understand, the biggest risk in cybersecurity are people. The people that make bad decisions, the people that click on a link they're not supposed to do, the people that let something happen, the people that write the password, on a piece of paper, all have a very easy password, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are people's behavior. So it is, while cybersecurity is there's a lot of technical in it, but at the same time, there's a lot of people issues, people's norm, people's behavior. So again, my background in criminal justice, and I also have a minor in sociology, really informed me to become a great entrepreneur, where I have people who's helping me, the technical people is helping me bring proper solution to our clients.
It's so funny that you say sociology. So I have a double major, my undergrad in communications and journalism and sociology. I feel like everyone should have sociology and psychology as a double major for anything that you do, because you understand people. Do work very, very well. in the world we're living right now, so the pandemic happens, you are working, you're just doing your thing, and all of a sudden, little buzzing starts happening in February, March, and all of a sudden the pandemic has hit the news. How has that affected your company, for the positive and for the negative?
So yeah, for the negative, it was a shock to many of us when we realized that. I mean, I was traveling because I traveled from here to DC a lot. I was traveling all around January and February, and I was listening when I'm in a hotel room. I was listening to the news on CNBC and all the different business channels. I was really paying a lot of attention to what's going on in China. So I realized, I'm like, wow, there's no way this thing is not going to be an issue here. But I did not know it was going to be as a big issue as it is here. So the work that we do, it's not, it's a hard thing, what's going on. But at the same time, the field of work that I am, it's not unexpected because my job as a risk management is to think about the worst case scenario, whether it's in cybersecurity, on training, or physical security. So our thing is what we do in our organization is we know in March when we realized we have to shut down, we realized that some of our clients, we couldn't build them because we have to have interaction to our clients so we can build them. We realized that things was really getting bad. Fortunately, some of our clients in the federal government stay with us, but we have private clients that we could not build. You just could not build them. But more importantly, as a small business, one of the ways that we are successful all the time, we always have to work to get a lot of opportunities and deal into the pipeline. So from February to, I will say, end of May, we could not do anything. We could not meet with people. We could not really do business development, trying to get more opportunity into the pipeline because every contract that we have, they will end at some point. So our goal is to always fill the bucket with more contracts so you can stay stable. So that was a big tough thing for us. From a negative perspective, we realized that we could not do the things we want to do. We couldn't grow our business the way we want to. We couldn't get all the opportunity into the pipeline so we can have a stable company. The company is going to last for a long time. The positive part of it is we decided to do 3 things in our organization. So right around March, I told all my team. So first of all, I decided to have a regular 8 o'clock meeting with my team. At 8 a.m. every Monday to Friday, I meet with my team. And what I decided to tell them, I told them the 3 things. One is we're going to take care of the issues that we have at hand now. We're going to think about the worst case scenario. So just to plan for it. Number 3 is what we're also going to do is we're going to look for opportunity in different ways. So one of the things we do, we decided to spend a lot of time in our organization to really look into our organization and see how we can be better when this thing is over. So we look at things like OKR, objectives and key results, which is a concept about how you really make sure all your team is looking at the same goal, the same objective, so we can move together. So we look at new system. We have a new CRM system, customer relation management system, where we look at how we can make sure that we triage our clients, our prospective customer better. So we start really to do a lot of that work. We look at all the processes we have in the organization for the past few months to say what things, where we can, one is cut costs when we need to, but 2 is be better when we come back. Because we realize that the choice of just turn off the switch, don't do anything was not something we can do. That was not something we can accept. So I will say from a very positive way, we are a better company now than we were 5 months ago as a result of the time that we spend to do the work internally that we need to do. So when everything's come back, so we can be in a much stronger level than we were then.
I love that because that's one of the things that people, I kept on saying to people, this time, keyword, this time is a blessing because we are moving so fast and technology has made us move even faster that people aren't paying attention to the simpler things. Those simple moments it gives you that opportunity to be aware of the people on your team. How's your company growing? what are the things that I should like pull back on? What are the things I should like expedite? So I think that's like phenomenal that you actually realize that.
Yes.
In regards to your team, how are you able to, like you're meeting with them at 8 o'clock, but how are they doing and how are you doing not being able to see each other on that daily basis?
Yes, I mean, we see each other. We don't see each other in person,
Yeah.
but we see each other. But the thing is that this is nothing new for my firm because even though we have two offices, we have one in Virginia, one in Boston, but at the same time, we virtual company. We, from the beginning, our laws, my people, I have the people that can. So I have people that have to be working at the clients. They have to be at the client location. But I have a good majority of people that do not have to. So I always was in a mindset of allow people to work at home when they want to really look at result as opposed to look at the daily activities of people. Because one of the things that I learned as a CEO, people can fool you if all they're doing, they are busy. I'm not looking for busybody. I'm looking for someone to go around and say, I'm busy, I have all those things going on, and I don't know what to do. I'm looking for result. And however you can give me that result, this is up to you, up to the individual. So we were before a remote company. We have Team, which is another Microsoft type of Zoom kind of system where we communicate with our people, a lot of our meetings. So even though we have the 8 a.m. call, but we have other operational call, all the business development call where we're able to see people live. So we're able to see people. So that's nothing new for us. So to us, it was like, okay, that's just business as usual. Certainly we could not see our client. Those are the players that we don't see, we miss as often that we want to. But in terms of our team, they were fine because that's very, very normal for them.
Very nice. What has the pandemic done for your industry? I mean, cybersecurity was just like the conversation of cybersecurity has been crawling. I mean, obviously there's been so much distraction where it's still there, it's still live, but it's less and less unless it's election time and they talk about Russia, et cetera, cyber. But what has the pandemic done for the industry in the growth of it or the concerns for it?
So a few things. One is, as a firm, not only we do cybersecurity, but we also do custom development. We develop custom training. So the cybersecurity side, yes, it's a concern because more and more people using their own device, are using their own Wi-Fi at home. So certainly it's a concern to know, okay, make sure that they are structured, they have processes in place to ensure that we don't have any breaches. As a matter of fact, remember the news about Zoom, right? There was early on, a lot of people were sort of get access and Zoom has to go back and sort of fix the issues. So again, those are concerned. I think organization will need to really realign it so we imagine what security will look like, right? Because before was security infrastructure at the location of the place where you were at. This is where the offices are. Now you got to think a little bit different. You got to think about different in terms of people that's going to bring their own device. Now people are going to use their own device, right? They're going to be at home. And how do you do that? How do you make sure that they have a system in place that people secure? But more importantly, how do you make sure that people continue to have the training they need so they can understand? I call it cyber hygiene, right? The cyber hygiene is you remember all of those things. Brushing your teeth, that's the stuff that's important to do. Wash your hair if you have some, right? That's something to do. Wash your face, wash your hands right now, right? So cyber hygiene is the tidbits of information and trainings that people need to know the right thing to change your password every certain time. Make sure your password is strong. Don't share your password with other people. Don't click on a link that, when someone say, hey, I got some good news for you. I have $50,000 for you. Who will give you $50,000 for not doing anything? So don't click on those links because you may compromise your organization, your system, the business system. In terms of the training, before the pandemic, we were having a hard time convincing people to put their training online. One of the things we are expert on, we specialize on developing content or turning someone's content into online learning. So we were having a hard time to make people realize that, and rightfully so. Our people, our client or prospect was telling us, wow, you know what? We love the idea of having a classroom. You love the idea of the interaction. No one can replace that. And I agree. No one can replace the live interaction. But the world that we live in right now, I'm seeing more and more companies saying, you know what? I cannot compromise my people's safety. Therefore, I need to have those training online. So there's tremendous amount of opportunity in the online learning place or marketplace, where I think a lot of companies, are seeing that, wow, I need to turn this content. I have this content. I cannot offer it in classroom. I cannot offer it with more than 10 people in some state. And in some other state, you can't even offer it at all. So I'm seeing more and more traction into our clients and prospects saying, I want to turn my content into online learning. So we are excited about the opportunity to be able to serve many companies of turning the content into online learning.
Beautiful. What would you say? I mean, so many people are at home right now, and as they're working from home, and they're not the individual that was like probably so stressed out because they felt like they were being micromanaged, and now they're at home and they feel a lot more relaxed and they're producing. They're producing the most amazing things. The individual that's always Mr. Boss Man, Miss Boss Woman, like look at me, is now like, oh wow, they really realized I wasn't producing as much as I kind of said I was. But that person that's producing is realizing I am now having this opportunity of really excelling, and that my confidence is being built up. Maybe this is my time to start something. What would you say to an individual that is considering, thinking, wanting to start their own business right now?
I will say, I've gone through this mindset, that troubling mindset, I will say, because I have to tell you, in 2012, my younger son, who's 8 years old right now, was about one or just turned one. I remember when I told my wife while she was pregnant, a few months before I left, passport, that I was going to leave a stable, well-paid job at an organization that is quasi-agency that probably will never lose my job unless I screw up. So she was shocked. And it was disbelief, the fact that I'm going to leave such a great opportunity. And then I convinced her that that was the right things to do. I convinced her that I needed to do that. And then we later down the line compromised and agreed that I was going to leave my job. So I do understand the feeling of trying to think about, is it the right things for me to do or not? Should I jump? Should I do that? I will say, if you have it in you, if you have that entrepreneurship mindset, the entrepreneurship spirit in you, and you feel that that's the right thing for you to do, you jump and do it. Certainly, you need to plan to do it, right? And I got to tell you, I am not one, I'm a risk kind of person, but I'm not crazy, right? I'm not going to jump, just for nothing. So I make the calculation even 8 or 9 months before I left my job that I was going to leave. And I know exactly when I was going to leave. August 3rd, I was going to leave. Back in February, I was having a conversation with my wife that I was going to leave. So I give myself some time, say, you know what? I'm going to leave this time. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to position myself in where I'm working. I'm going to make sure that I perform at my job, because I might need my boss to say a good word for me. I'm also going to work harder. That's mean I'm working full-time at my job, but at nighttime, I'm going to work on my business. And that's what I've done. I'm going to work on my business plan. I'm going to learn about how to create a business. I'm going to learn about what to do, the way to register a company. I didn't know any of that. All of those things to learn. They're not hard to learn, but you have to learn them. So I think that once you do that, you are free to do that. You just set a time and get it done. And after that, one of the things that I realized, and that's my Haitian part came out. I know the life that I had in Haiti. I understand the rough life that I have in Haiti. It wasn't easy. It was pretty rough. I also realized that not having a job, that's very little compared to the life that I have in Haiti. I can always look for another position, or losing a great position that I have, I can always find something different, even if that means go back to cleaning a bank, cleaning places. Doesn't matter to me. My thing is, I will do whatever it takes to get where I want to get. So that's the spirit that I got. When I left my job with the money that I was making, I made a mental decision thinking that, you know what? If this any job to my family and take care of myself, but I will continue working hard to get to where I want to get. So that's the calculation. So it was, to me, never going back. I think I will see entrepreneurs out there that say, you know what, I want to do my own business, but sometimes I'm realizing, are you really in it? How would you feel like if you were making a six-figure and you're making $25,000, or you're doing a job that you never thought you feel like, or pay? Is that something you'd be able to do? Is that something you'd be able to live with yourself? And I didn't have that ego. I didn't have this kind of ego. I am all the way here in that position. I feel so bad if someone's seeing me serve at a restaurant or doing whatever I have to do to take care of my. This never crossed my mind once, because at the end of the day, I realized in America, I can be the best cook that I can ever be. I can be the best chef. I can be the best cleaners that I can be, and then that's how I think. So this is sort of my thing. It's like, if you think you have it in you, you need to get it done and move on.
I love that you say that, because again, it literally is the Haitian mentality, the immigrant mentality, the international mentality, where my father, my mother, my grandmother, all my relatives have said the same thing. I don't care what you are, be the best damn thing you are. So whether it's a trash collector, whether it is a tech person, whether it is a nurse, it doesn't matter what you are. Be the best damn one, number one. And number two, you are above and below no one.
That's correct. That's correct.
Above and below no one. We can do anything. And and if your ego delays you from getting to your goals, then you need to actually check yourself, because right. Ego is something that someone else has placed on you, and you need to get rid of it.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly. And just like you said, Jodi, that's exactly how I felt. And I never looked back. Never looked back. Never one moment that I left my sport. And August 3rd, 2012 to now. And then I have to tell you that was, in my lifetime, it's the best decision that I made, or one of the best decisions. The birth of my kids, the marriage of my wife, those are the top. I will say that's the best decision that I made professionally, to do what I've done and never look back once. Even when things got tough, and it wasn't easy at the beginning. It wasn't like, wow, it's all rosy. It was like struggling, trying to get back, trying to fight the process, the systems, and go through with but people people burn you here, burn you there. But at the end of the day, it was the best decision, and I'm so lucky and happy to have done it.
I think that's one of the things that more and more entrepreneurs, or even the individuals that are inside that business that they're on their own creating, they need to hear that more and more, where it may not work the first time, but as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you allow yourself to not let that ego get in the way, you can succeed in no matter what you do.
Absolutely.
If you're in a perfect world, the doors open tomorrow, our new normal, whatever this new normal is, in a perfect world, what does your first day look like?
Oh, my first day. Wow. I would say if the world opened tomorrow, I enjoy being in a restaurant normal, with just people not having the anxiety and then the mask. I do understand, the science behind wearing a mask, but I have to tell you, it's just like a lot of people, you just can't wait to get back to that new normal where you can go to a restaurant, enjoy it, go to a bar, have a drink with someone that you don't have to worry about it. So that will be really some of the, what I do. I've done, I keep my exercise going throughout the pandemic. I work, I meet with some clients online and so forth. But I will say, seeing people, talking to people, which is what I enjoy to do, or talking to, when you go to a restaurant, talking to the waiter, the waitress. These are the stuff I enjoy doing. or talking to my client, just going to visit my client, visit my site. These are the things that that I enjoy, that if the world, everything stopped, that we never had coronavirus, or we have a vaccine where most of us vaccinated, which is important, this is where I will be.
In regards to, I have to like rewind for a little bit, and I get excited, and you guys, and everyone's talking, but then there's certain things that just the reporter in me comes back. With all of the individuals that are working from home right now, and everyone's on all sides, so like we cannot monitor individuals anymore. They're at home, they're just on whatever they want to be, but they're still working. They're on their devices or they're on the work devices. What would be some thoughts that you'd say to the employer? How do they handle this? I mean, how do we track this? It's no longer on a big data system. How do we train, and how do we create training for our staff to be better if we're saying you don't have to come back for the entire year? That's question number one. Question number two, with everything that's happening right now in regards of equality in our world, how is a company supposed to survive in keeping, again, security, the looting? That was your background where you were watching all the looting. Like, there's so much in regards to security, there's so much in regards of safety, there's so much in regards of educating your staff. What would be the best advice for a company where I'm sitting here, I'm looking, I don't want to be on script, I want to be mindful, I need to make sure that my company is growing, but I'm being hit with every single thing, and you talk and do so many things. What would be a great advice that you tell a company that I want to be mindful, I want to do something, I want to be wise, I want to help my company grow, but I'm stuck. I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, I will say, one of the things that I think leaders in an organization, whether you have people working at home or people working on a site that you're not able to see them, is we need to it's more important right now to create connection with your employees. And that's what I've done. So I have to tell you, throughout the pandemic and now, I have more connection with my employees than I ever had before. Because before it was kind of like assume, right? Yep. I show up to the office and I have 2 minutes to swing by the office and go see, I go right to my office, or I go to a conference meeting. So I'm just like, I seen you, but I'm not really seeing you, right? So it forced us as CEO now to really pay attention and connect with your employees. So we are doing a lot about connecting with our employees, not only talking to them, not only creating a system where we allow the employee to express themselves, too. We have a newsletter, we have a board where people can sort of put comments and everything else on a system that we have internally about different things that we're doing. I'm trying to, as a leader of my company, recognize people's effort more than I've done before, as a way to really make people feel like, I know I cannot see you, but I can feel you. Well, I cannot see you where you are, but I feel the impact that you are making to the organization. I think is the best thing for us to do. So the connection part now, CEO now has to be more connected. Even when you connect that to the issues of racial inequality, that's even more important. Where CEO has to set the tone. Not only you have to say, I feel you and connected with you as employees of mine, but also are connected to the issues going on in this country, because we all in it together. We all want to have that perfect union. So I think, to me, that's sort of the best thing for us to do as CEO. So it's really communicating with your team, let your team know that you understand where they're going through. And I've done that even throughout the COVID-19. We send different communication from the CEO to all my employees and telling them my feeling, and one of my email to my team, I expressed to them right around end of March and early April. I expressed to them my own weakness about, I felt that I was really down. I'm a very positive person. I felt that I was kind of depressed in a way, because when this thing started on the 14th or right around March 14, 15, your kids at home, you have no idea what's next going on, and you see numbers going up and the media is telling you all those kind of things, like, oh, this is crazy. Yeah. And then there's no end in sight. So I was really depressed, feeling depressed. And I had to share that with my team. I let my team know that we have resources available through our HR system, HR partner, that they can take advantage of. So it's really trying to show humility, show how you care about people feeling like, hey, I'm not a robot. I'm not just robot, like, I don't see you, I don't feel you, I just want the bottom line to go up. So you make people feel like you care for them, whether it's on the issue of what we're going through right now, the COVID-19 issue, or people working at home, or even the issue of racial inequality. So let people feel like, I feel you, I hear you, we need to do better, we're in this together, we can get it, we can survive. At the end of the day, we are the United States of America, one of the best countries in the world. There's really nothing that we're going to conquer. So that's really the mindset of telling people we can do it. So that's the mindset that I then, for a few months from now, and tell my team, my people, even with the racial inequality conversations going on, tell people we can do it. So now it's up to us to act, to do something.
I love that you said that, because I'm you and I are the same thing. We're like Tigger. We bounce around. We're happy. We're like positive. Like, this is the way that we are. And I felt the same way, that the anxiety and the weight of the world on my chest, where I'm like, am I having a heart attack? What's happening here? Yep. And it was just full anxiety of just like, there's so much. And yet for me, the things that hurt me the most is to watch how kids were reacting and how elderly were reacting. And that for me is my sweet spot of, my heart was just breaking. It was just breaking. And so to be able to find a way to comfort those two worlds for me was very, very, very important. And you're right. It's the you and the sociology. I have no problem with talking to you if you're willing to talk.
Yes.
Again, not on script. If you're willing to talk, I'm always there for you. I will not know all the answers, but I will tell you exactly where I am and where I feel. And I'm not afraid. Like, the humble part. I mean, I think that being, right, especially in my house, the humble pie is out the door. I mean, my parents were like, enough of you. Like, you're humble pie. I mean, like, your ego or whatever. So it was like, it's one of those moments, like, humility comes very close to who I am and how I was raised. And so telling people what I'm feeling is something natural. And everyone's like, oh, no, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. You're a CEO. You shouldn't say that. You're a founder. You shouldn't say that. I'm like, you know what? I go, I am who I am. So I love the fact that you are who you are as well. It literally makes it that much better for your team.
Yes. And my team thank you for that. I mean, my people work for me in my company realize that. And when you do that, the other part of it is, to add to this is when you do that, as a leader, people in your organization's going to copy the way that you are. They're really going to try to become like you, because if they see you as that leader, right? Yeah. Just like in whether you are running a company, a nonprofit organization, or even the country, people want to look up to you and say, wow, I want to be. And then when you give them that sense, it's the recipe for something perfect.
Oh, I love it. All right. So my last question, which of course I never tell people what it is, but if you listen to enough, there's enough of the podcast that you could probably figure out what it is. But if I had to ask, if you had to ask a professional ask and a personal ask, what would be your personal and professional ask to the world? Not or, and. So your personal and your professional ask to everyone and anyone that is listening to you right now.
So my professional ask will be for people who are listening to me and have the opportunity to get my service to go on my website, www.windwalker.com, WINDWALKER.com, to see the different services that we can offer to you, to your organization, what is on training, on security. Referral, we always love that. And we always tell our people, we will not let you down when you refer someone to us, because we are going to see it as something personal. So that you refer someone to us, because now you're giving us your credibility, and we cannot mess with that. The personal stuff is, recently I invested $100,000. My company invested $100,000 into BECMA, which is the Black Economic Council in Massachusetts. So BECMA is doing great work in terms of making sure that we're really closing the wealth gap, between Black and white. I mean, we've seen the statistic, we see the number. So I believe part of part of me trying to bring solution, right? Because we really want to be in a mindset of solution, right? It's easier to complain. It's easier to say things are not working. It's easier to say, I'm being discriminated, whatever the issue may be.
Yep.
But I think it's more important for us to say, you know what, I'm going to do something, whatever that things may be. And I think one thing people can do is go to beckma.org and give money. And if you cannot give money to Beckma, one of the things you can do is you can talk to your company right now. Every company is right now saying they want to do something about income inequality.
Yep.
So now it's a good thing to go to your HR or your whatever organization or department within your company that deal with this kind of issue. Tell them, hey, listen, I know you say you want to do something different. He's an organization who's working toward really make that gap shorter. Really try to close the gap between Black and white inequality. So this is my personal ask, and that's my professional ask. And thank you to you for the opportunity to give both.
Oh my God, you know what? I always want to say, I'm going to add to that where give some time, give some of your time too. If you can't do the financial part, give some of your time because a little bit of knowledge goes a whole long way.
That's right. Agreed.
You just gave a whole lot of knowledge, so much knowledge, which is wonderful. Oh my God, Herbie. I mean, Monday. I can't wait till we have a moment. I mean, literally, the second this is over, since you are in Boston, we're gonna meet at Sunrise.
Yes, we should.
So for anyone that's out there, Sunrise is like a beautiful Haitian restaurant in Somerville, which is amazing. Like really, really great Haitian food that I love going to. And I literally, to justify, I live in Marblehead and I'm a runner. So I sometimes take a run to Somerville, from Marblehead to Somerville, eat there and then run back so I can justify eating as much as I possibly want.
Listen, I love Sunrise. I used to live in Somerville, even though I live, away from Somerville, I still go in Somerville to get my Haitian food. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, so that will be my moment when we're able to. We are going to meet at Sunrise and we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful meal together there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jodi. I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity to do that. And thank you for what you're doing, really exposing company like mine, all the people. Thank you for your service.
Oh my goodness. You know what? It's the former media me that I'm always intrigued, but also I know that I'm surrounded by the most amazing people globally, not just in my local area, but globally. I'm surrounded by these amazing, amazing, amazing people. But also it's just that I can't do a lot, but this is what I enjoy doing the best, where I enjoy sharing great stories and showing everyone that a small business isn't just a restaurant. It's so much more. And our economy globally is literally defined by small, medium businesses. And so more and more people need to understand what that really means. And if this is it, of me talking to you and laughing with you and smiling with you, and I think that's all that I can offer. And then that's what I enjoy the most. So I thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy day. I know you're busy. You have your team, your family. How's the family? How's everyone doing at home?
Everybody's doing great.
Good. Good. This is like a wonderful thing. No complaints. Everyone's doing well and smiling.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. And I will hopefully see you soon.
Thank you so much, Jodi.